What's up, guys? Welcome into the Parlay alongside 15-year NBA veteran Mr. Kendall Gill himself is in the building. KG, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, too. Been a while, and I'm glad we got some great guests in the studio today.
Great company, indeed.
Yes.
But before we start anything, and before we get to our sponsors, you walked up to the studio today. You had this Michael Jordan walk. You got his hat.
First of all, I do not walk like Jordan. Second of all, this hat is my style. MJ is a country boy. He don't know nothing about that. Okay?
Hey, I'm not the only one treating you this morning.
Yeah.
So I'm treating you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what we're talking about. It was a
Definitely not me.
It was a smooth walk. You know what I'm saying? I'm here.
Well, that's my walk, man. Hey, look. I'm in the Silver Fox squad, so you got to have a walk like that.
You can shout out some.
Right. Okay.
You didn't have to practice to live. You're
Right. It's natural.
Okay. That's all right. The Parlay is sponsored by 60/40 Club. If you want to know Kendall Gill's regimen, you got to check it out. You almost done?
With what?
60/40 this year? The season's almost over?
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, we've already been through a couple cycles, so it's over now. Anytime you get towards the fall months, then we're practically done.
If you want to know his workout regimen, check him out, man. Kendall Gill, official Kendall Gill on Instagram. And, of course, everything there, 60/40. Also by Zeus Apparel. Zeus Apparel is collaborating with the Parlay very soon. We're about to get some apparel from them, by the way.
Nice.
Maybe some boxers will join the party, but they are helping out support boxers, and they have a great line of apparel. And finally, Glory Wash Pro. Jonathan Castro is the guy you need to talk to for any of your power pressure needs. If it's from the house, concrete, whatever it is, you got to check them out, Glory Wash Pro. All those links are in the description box on our channel. All right, KG, we witnessed about 2 weeks ago a candidate for Fight of the Year in Detroit, Michigan at the Fox Theater. I was blessed to see a ringside here with the team from Unanimous Boxing. But, of course, Coach Trinidad is in the building, and the Olivia Curry from Chicago is here with us, and we are happy that you're here with us this morning.
We're happy too. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate it. Yeah, sure.
So, listen, we talked before the fight. Obviously, Olivia, you didn't have a match in over a year, right? Your last one was in Miami back in 2024 during the spring in March, and opponents kept coming up, and then they kept leaving, and finally you got the match up with Kaye Scott at the Fox Theater for the WBC NBA belts, and this was a match that you were looking forward to. You listen, from what I saw and from what I heard, you were in probably one of the best shapes of your life. You were well prepared, and the fight showed, because again, it was a candidate. It's a candidate for Fight of the Year, if not maybe the Fight of the Year.
No.
How'd you feel?
Thank you. Well, thank you for saying that. I like, you always have to take a few steps back after the fight and after all the emotions of the fight and look at it and say, like, at the end of the day, like, sports, this is entertainment, and I think we put on a really good show, and I do take pride in that. I told him, like, beforehand, even at the press conference, like, no matter what, you're going to get a fight. Like, we're going to war. You're going to have a fight on your hands. And we definitely didn't disappoint in that sense. So that makes me feel proud. I, of course, wish I'd pulled off the win. I think I made some mistakes early on that I can learn from and do better next time. But she brought it. I think I brought it. It was obviously a good fight. And overall, I feel really lucky that we're in talks to do it again soon.
Also be a question for Trinidad also. In order to fight a fight like you fought, I don't know how many punches you threw per round, but it seemed like to me you threw over 100 punches a round. What type of condition or what type of camp did you have to go through to be in that type of shape?
Well, he always makes sure that no matter what, if nothing else, I'm in shape, because we know there's some differences in, I don't want to downplay my own skill set. I do think I have boxing skills, of course, but we might go up against someone like Kaye Scott, who has, 100 some amateur fights, who has this pedigree. So it's like, hey, if nothing else, we can sort of like cross some of that divide by being in the best shape we possibly can be in. And he had me, his son is a cross-country star in Chicago, high school kid who had me running at a pace that I never would have been running myself all through the summer.
Yeah, so I piggyback. So what my whole thing was that when I made a decision to be a trainer in general was I didn't get a lot of the I didn't get that. I didn't get the individual attention like a lot of fighters crave. Like they want that attention from their what's called. They want to have a plan. Olivia's a very organized person in general. She works better off of organization. So when we were lucky enough to say that we knew about this fight in May. So we had a lot of time. Okay, we don't want to burn her out. We still have a lot of time. Let's work on things in June and start pushing in July. And then August comes and like it was the end of June, she started running with my son. And my son runs, 4-minute and 45-second miles.
Yeah, I wasn't too fast. But he would push me.
I go to him and I'm like, I need her to be at under 7.
Under 7? Okay.
I need her to be at these numbers by this time of the camp.
Let's say under 8.
Okay. No, I mean, but I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
Like, we need these numbers to be here.
Right.
I need her to be under 3 miles, under 19 minutes. Like, and I want to see this mile slower, this mile faster, and this. And he would get, for him, it's like a stroll in the park.
Right.
So he can go ahead and make sure that happens.
Okay.
Right. So you have that. It's not accountability. I never have to worry if Olivia's going to tell me I'm going to go run. Like, I never think she didn't go run today. What it is, it's that next level pickup.
Right.
To be able to do what she did on the 19th, you have to be able to be in the best shape possible.
And he does it in sparring too. Like, and this is not just this camp. We've done this before, but by the end of camp, when it's really like, okay, we're in hard sparring mode, it's you do your 10 rounds in a row, but I'm putting a fresh person in every round. A lot of times fresh guys, right? So it's like, there's some like new dude every single round who's like trying to beat my ass.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm having to like keep going. So that gets you in shape.
2 things. When you do it, like, you're in, go. You're in, go. You're in, go. And it's somebody new. It's a different style. Not only physically do you have to be there for it, but you also mentally have to be able to be like, I need to adjust.
Right.
Because we don't know. Like, for me with Kaye Scott for the rematch, Kaye Scott might try to do something different. I don't think she will.
We might try to do something different.
We might try to do something different. Right?
There you go.
Like, there's going to be some different things that we're going to try to do differently. She might all of a sudden become this master boxer and we have to go find her. I don't think that's going to be the case, but you just don't know. So you have to adjust. So having different sparring partners, having that kind of thing. With the running aspect of it, with me, it's boxing is one of these things. And you know this from fighting. It's 1 minute your heart rate's here. The next minute it's doing this. And you got to bring it back. So it's like fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. And for me, I always want everything at a fast, not the fastest, but fast.
Let's talk about the fight in itself, right? We get to that fight there, and the first 2 rounds, you can see, you can see that there's gonna be, you're gonna have to do some work, right? She's piling punches, but you're also trying to hang with her, and then you have round 3 where you get the cut. What were you thinking when you got cut? I was obviously here in the corner, and I was here in Trinidad talk to you and Lalo. But what happened? What was going through your brain once you got cut?
Well, mostly my first thought was like, oh man, not again, because I got cut in my last fight in a similar spot. And it's just, I don't know if I just like, from both times, I believe it's just from a head clash kind of thing. So we're with 2 fighters of the same height. It's like, it's going to happen. And then my second thought was like, it's early for a cut. I still have like 7 rounds to go. But then pretty quickly, I can't say that the cut bothered me too much. I think our corner, like Robinson, our cutman did an awesome job. It wasn't, besides that first round, it didn't really have an impact on my vision. And I think because I had been cut in the past in another fight, I knew what to expect in terms of what was going to happen in the corner. So it was easier for me to kind of listen still and change my style and adjust and not be so focused on like, oh no, I'm cut, which kind of was my experience the first time. So I actually felt, it's not great, but I don't think it hindered my performance too much.
I think also having that team, like she was saying, like Robinson, you would have never even known Robinson was in that corner. He just jumps in, doesn't say a word. You're saying what you're saying to her, and he's right on it.
No, he definitely was on it. And he
took care of it, and it went from, what a lot of people don't realize is they called it a punch. And then when we went back to go watch when they went back, the commentators like, oh my God, it wasn't a punch. It was a headbutt. But the referee called it a punch. WBC does have replay. I'm not sure if it was even in effect. I think for the next fight, there'll be something that I'll be like, hey, is replay in effect?
Well, no, they showed it on the replay.
Yeah, no, I know they showed it on the
Yeah.
replay. I'm saying if they would have stopped that fight at that moment, it would have been considered a technical knockout for Kaye Scott.
Right.
Because the referee called it, I would have had to request the WBC to go and look at the replay there at the event. They do it now there. So that's something I will ask, like, for the next fight, because I think with the fact that Kaye Scott's a little taller than Olivia, and our style of fighting is very front foot forward, I'm going to have to make sure that they understand, hey, these headbutts, like, our heads are clashing all the time. Let's make sure that we are doing it the right way. And let's make sure if we have that ability to go to instant replay, we could check.
Yeah. So, Kaye Scott, I think she came in thinking that she could box you, but the pressure that you were putting on her, she couldn't do that. Did you feel that in the ring that she wanted to box, but she really couldn't? You were making her fight your game?
I think yes, to a degree, but I actually was also surprised. Like, what I'll give her credit for was she also came in hotter than I thought. I thought she was really going to try to box from the outside more. And whether it's sort of hard to tell maybe when you're in there, like, whether it's because of me or because of her, because that was just the energy in both of us at the same time. It became more of like an inside fight. It became more of a slugfest, which I think I welcomed, because I think that I'm good at that. But I do think that, we have to make sure in the next fight to be able to box with her. And we might even want to box her. I don't think she's such a phenomenal boxer that I can't box her from the outside.
Right.
Too, we just got to work on a few things.
I think Kaye Scott fought a completely different fight than she's ever fought in her whole entire life. Yeah, they even said it.
Yeah, she admitted it at the end of the fight.
Kaye Scott never fought like I'm not talking about just in her pro career. In the last 6 years, I fought every video I could of Kaye Scott. The one even in like Thailand that was like the worst quality ever. She throws 2 punches and she'll move. 2 punches and she'll move. I don't think I've seen Kaye Scott throw a 3-punch combination until she fought Olivia that night. And to her credit, she did. And she did what she had to do to make it something completely different. Now, but as the fight went on, like you were saying, I think she realized I don't have a choice. Because once Olivia's engine was completely going by like Olivia actually picked it up and started doing better in the third when she was cut.
Right.
It was a sense of urgency that came into Olivia. And then she was like, okay, now we're going to make it a dogfight. That's when because to me, Olivia really took over really in the second half of the fight. It was clear we were landing hellacious left hooks to the body.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where even I said, I was like, man, like we worked on that left hook for like 3 years. Like she got that left hook down. And I was just like, one of the things that I know we're going back to that body pretty quickly in this fight, because I think that was a big part of it.
Kaye said in a quote here on Boxing Scene, she said that, was your success on the inside and that the reason why it felt like she was losing, traction in the latter half of the fight. She said, probably 100%. That's probably what it was. And we saw it. And you made a good mention of that, Trinidad and Olivia. For you, she was being first early in the fight.
Yes.
And I heard Trinidad, be first. And you started attacking immediately. But the one thing I think that affected the fight, and from what I saw ringside, was that left hook to the body. I mean, I was hearing the thumps, and I know you heard it. I heard her breath every time that you were landing it cleanly. And so what was that like in the latter half of the fight, the last part, the second half of the fight, the body attack? Was that something that you were looking to do immediately? Did you feel her slowing down?
I did feel her slowing down a little bit in the second half of the fight, for sure. If you go look at the first few rounds, I mean, we're like, it's a very quick pace. And to me, that's not my forte. I think I was sometimes like slowing myself down a little, like looking for that shot. But when I finally found it, and when she finally slowed down just a hair, enough that I could like set up a real combination, then I was like, okay, a 1-2 and a left hook to the body, and that left hook would land really clean. So I did feel success with that. And, then it's going to be about making sure that I follow up to the head, which I was doing. But the cleanness of the punches is like, it took me a few rounds to kind of figure out where her body was.
Well, I will say this, and Kendall, you'll probably recognize this too. fighting. I know I did too. It's always interesting. You get this in people when they're sparring too. They come back into the first round. It's the first round. Let me warm up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, we need to cut that out.
We don't,
Like
we ain't got time to warm up.
We ain't got to, like, I actually
got warmed up in the locker room.
actually on the Boxing Voice, they were talking to me and they were like, you know, come really after she got cut is when Olivia really started picking it up. And I said, you know, you're absolutely right. And what I'm going to start doing is, honestly, it's going to look ridiculous. I'm going to do 4 or 5 rounds of mitts straight with her and then go into the fight.
Yeah.
Because she always has been better after warmed up.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, and I, you know, it's interesting because I think that just has to do with size. It's like anything else, right? A bigger car takes longer to warm up.
Yeah.
Right. And Olivia and Kaye Scott are both, but Kaye Scott did something none of us could have expected. She went back to her amateur roots and just start winging punches out there.
Yeah.
And fighters, coaches, how many times do we see a guy that's already a professional fighter and then he goes in and he spars an amateur and the amateur gets the best of him for the first couple seconds and you're like, or for the first couple rounds and you're like, what's going on?
Right.
It's because the guy who's having success really doesn't have a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he goes out there, he starts winging and then you're like, all right, let me settle this dude down. Let me start catching him a little bit more body shots. And Kaye Scott looked like a high-end amateur in that fight. And that's not me insulting her. She did something we didn't expect, and that's something we will be ready. It's the only thing she could have done that could have surprised us was the fact that she came out slugging. Because whatever she does next, we were prepared for from the beginning, and we'll be prepared for her to slug, and we'll be prepared for her to box the next time.
Yeah, I was surprised. Olivia, you hit her with so many shots to the liver. I was surprised she didn't go down.
Yeah, she's tough.
You know, I had to give it to her at the end of the fight because I didn't think she would be able to hang.
It's
I mean, they sounded like this.
Too.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
And I could feel it a few times, you know, of course you feel someone like sucking their breath, whatever, but it's frustrating as a fighter too, to land something like that and then be like, man, she's still here though. And that's usually I'm that person,
right,
to be
yeah.
honest.
Okay.
So it was a good learning experience to be like, look, she has a lot of experience. I'm not probably the toughest or hardest hitting person that she's faced because she's faced hundreds of people, right? So, you know, she's gonna know what it feels like to get hit. You know,
Experience and the experience means so much in this game.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody, I said this to her when she first started with me too, was you almost have to be an actor in boxing. I always felt like Miguel Cotto was the best. Like when Miguel Cotto, and I call it an attack, when Margarito first fought him, which we all know Margarito had loaded hand wraps at this point.
Yeah.
Miguel Cotto was bloody and messed up, and he still had the same facial expression before the fight and after it, even beat up. It's very, very like, it doesn't matter. And Kaye Scott, to her credit, was taking shots and was like, and I know we all been there. We've all been hit with a shot that we're like, okay. And you just kind of have to walk through, you know, and she did that for the 10 rounds, you know, more credit to Kaye Scott.
No, she did. I mean, and, you know, I was impressed with her because I didn't think that she would be able to deal with the amount of pressure. I thought that the pace of the fight somewhere down the line, 7, 8, it would catch up with her. And with the amount of body shots you were hitting with, I thought that you would drop her at some point. But that didn't happen. So we had to give credit to her. But, you know, I felt, and I know one of the judges scored a 98, 92.
So it was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. I mean, what are you looking at? But I felt I felt in the 12th round.
10.
Or I'm sorry, the 10th round.
I needed 12 though. I would have happily done.
Right. I felt in the 10th round that was your round clear as day, and that's where if you didn't win it, you evened it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because that was a great round for you.
I felt like I was getting stronger, and this sounds sort of like I'm not saying this in a way that's trying to like toot my own horn, but I really maybe because I felt like I got like gave up a few rounds in the beginning and got my engine going a little later, I actually do sort of wish we had 2 more rounds. You know, I think like I was kind of getting stronger as the fight went on.
Yeah.
But,
Well, you know, there's an online presence, and people talk and people watch, and so a lot of the comments I saw was a robbery, and that was Kaye's fight. You know, one thing I got to tell the audience is like it's you got to remember the fight is not the same on TV. When you were judging a fight, at the least when you're there in front, there's things you're not seeing on TV, and I was okay with the draw per se. The 98-92 card was far-fetched, but the draw made sense to me because you both were at it and had moments in the fight. Al Bernstein, legendary Al Bernstein, talked to both of you and asked you the famous question after this crazy fight: did you want a rematch? So that's not really the question I want to ask you because I know you want it, and we hope to see it. But are we anywhere with that so far?
Yeah, I guess I'll step in for that one. Right away. I mean, it wasn't 24 hours after that I was already getting reached out by the people who make the fight.
Yeah.
So, with Salidas and Mark Taft, which was the old HBO sports president, Mark Taft, who's, manager of Clarissa Shields. He was such a big part of making this fight happen for us and getting us with Salidas and getting us on that biggest platform after fights falling out, after fight falling out, after fight falling out, like 4 fights in a row, right? So we've already been in talks. They have already talked about December or January, which I know December feels like it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Definitely does. But when you have 2 fighters that are with the same promoter, this isn't rocket science at this point.
All right.
You have 2 fighters that had the fight of the year up to this point, in my opinion, and you can go ahead and now put them up again and possibly have, a rematch of the fight of the year within the same year. It's a good look for them. I personally would like it to be January. Just because, getting hit is getting hit, and time needs to heal. And we had a very long camp, but at the end of the day, look, we're missing hardware. We left Detroit without what we went there for.
Right.
It's only been a week since this fight happened, and it's still very fresh for both of us. I think because, at least for me, I'm not going to speak for her, but at least for me, the fact that everybody is calling it the fight of the year, and because it's becoming that, I think that's taking a little bit of the sting off of the fact that we did not bring those home. At the end of the day, we're in, this from basketball, from boxing, we're in the entertainment business.
Right.
And I want to ask, because before you go, did you feel like your profiles and your stock has gone up after this fight?
Yeah.
I think so.
Which is the weirdest thing. And yes, I do believe that. I think a lot of people, we open up eyes. We open up a ton. We made that card that night. Our fight was the best fight of the night. It wasn't even.
Yeah, it wasn't the best fight of the night. Yeah.
We, if nothing else, we helped continue the rise of women's boxing with just that fight alone.
Right.
Well, and also, the thing about boxing that it seems like, I think people who don't watch boxing and don't really know how the business is organized and all of that sometimes don't understand this. But I would say most fights, if you're not looking at world championship level, but just most fights that happen, even on a local level, are not 50-50 fights. A lot of the time, you kind of know who's going to win a fight before it happens. Those are the fights of the year. Those are the really good fights when you're like, wow, that was I don't know.
Right.
And Canelo Crawford is a great example of that. It's it's going to be hard to pick, And so I think it feels good to be matched up with someone where it really is hey, they're going to have to actually do the sport for real and fight. It's not just who has the better boxing skill, but it's they're going to fight because either one could legitimately beat the other one.
Yeah, and as a rule of thumb, whenever you raise your profile, when the commentators say, I want to see that again, Al Bernstein and the other
Raul
Raul Marquez.
Yeah.
All those guys said we want to see it.
I mean,
again.
we had Rosie Perez on Twitter being like,
Right.
where did this come from?
Exactly.
Right? Like,
And both of us weren't very well known. Obviously, people, real hardcore women's boxing fans might be like, oh, yeah, she fought Shadeja, or like she's doing this or that. But people, and same with Kaye Scott, she's kind of known in Australia.
Right.
But internationally, I don't think she's really known like that. And so I think for both of us, that feels good, too, to know people aren't saying that because they're such big fans of us. They don't know who we are. We're just random people living our lives. We don't have huge profiles.
Right.
But, we put in the work and we did something that made people
maybe pay attention. Yeah.
Maybe I'll become a fan, and that's cool.
Right, exactly.
And in sports, that's all you can really ask for, right? Somebody putting their best foot forward.
Yep.
Right? It didn't matter whether it was Little League or it was, college, high school, whatever it is, you put your best foot forward as a coach. That's all I can ever ask for.
Yeah. And
what she did that night, it's the weirdest thing. I'm unbelievably proud, right? Like I was telling our other coach, Lalo, that I was like, I never thought in my life, you never realize how cool not cool. It's cool too, that you were going to ever be in the fight of the year.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing anybody really reaches for, but now we were in it. And I would even say when we were in it, I didn't realize how good it was when I was watching it because my mind's
No, it was great.
Right?
Yeah, it was great.
And when I went back and I watched it, I was like, oh, okay. Because what happens is a lot of times after fights, and this happened to me, Olivia's last fight with Melody, there's a very high of high and a very low of low. And what people don't realize, and that happens with the fighter, that happens with the trainer, you're like, yeah, when you win, you're like, hey, you probably figure this out in sports too, is that you're going through this like, yeah, we got it. And then it's like, okay, well, what's next? Even after you win, you feel like that. Losses, it's like, okay, we got to reevaluate. It's what's it called? Draws is one of the most unsatisfying things in sports.
Yeah, I understand.
Because you felt like
all that hard work, man.
All that hard work, you're not quite done yet.
Right.
Yep.
Well, you got unfinished business, so you just got to go. Yeah, you just got to take care of it.
And that's the plan, is to go out there and don't leave it to anybody at the end of it, and it's not to leave it to the judges. We want to go out there. If we're going to leave it to the judges, it's a clear-cut victory.
Well, boxing's talking about, you guys, of course, and you can see it on social media. You're right now ranked 10th in the WBC, and ESPN has you ranked as the number 2 middleweight in the world. And so, your name is there, right? And Kaye Scott's also there. She's ranked 3rd on WBC and 5th in ESPN. So the names are there, right? And it's you have that. And so, with this fight that you have coming up next, and hopefully with the rematch gets done and you guys have everything settled, you did mention earlier that you may change your game plan. And you're not going to talk about the game plan, obviously, on the show, but
secret.
Yeah, of course, absolutely, absolutely. But does that, as a boxer, when you have to change a game plan like that, how difficult is that for you when maybe you're used to doing something a certain way for such a long time? And coach and trainer can talk more on this. Even you, KG, as a former boxer, how does that look for you when you have to change something like that?
Well, I actually like, and he can probably talk about this too, I like it to a degree because I'm a nerd, and there's part of the sport of boxing that I keep coming back to. Part of the reason I love it is the learning part. And he even had to remind me the other day, we were like working on something new, and I was kind of getting frustrated. And he's like, remember you used to always like these days where we weren't like working out super hard, but we were just learning? I was like, okay, yes, that's true. I do actually like that. So I'm excited about that. And I hope we have the kind of time and capacity to like really work and learn some new things. But there's also, I'm 35, right? I didn't have a super long boxing career. I started a little bit later. So it's kind of like the hard part of it is teaching an old dog new tricks, kind of. And so that is something that he knows as a coach, I think, how much can I push, and what we adjust tends to be smaller adjustments, not trying to change my whole style, because at this point, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's the processing thing, right? Like what we're going to change up, and what we've already started talking about is the smallest things. You're not in 2.5-3 months. It's hard to make something second nature, right? So what we got to do is we got to add those smaller movements, smaller things, smaller traps that are going to be stuff that utilize what Olivia has already, and try to add in one or two things. It's not going to be this massive change of game plan here because, like you guys said it, Olivia going downstairs to that body was a massive part of our success.
Yeah.
Olivia going downstairs to that body round 1 is going to be even bigger of success.
And sometimes it's fixing the flaws too, where it's not teaching me new things. It's just reminding me, like in this fight,
It's fixing a flow.
Well,
right? It's just
part of it
flowing
was
flow.
I was getting touched with a lot of little shots that to me didn't, and I have this is a problem I've always had. Even in sparring, he yells at me for this, where if someone's not really hurting me and I can't really feel their power, I'll just walk through it, but that doesn't look good, right? So it's like, okay, maybe you should like move your head a little bit instead of just eating a couple punches on the way.
Yeah, because they're piling up
like,
points.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
during the
And I
fight,
kind of
Piling
don't
up
think about
points,
that because
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but I like when I hit her hard. Okay, but she just tagged me with like 5 little shots. And
yeah. So,
And that's what you said, because I saw a couple times when you said in the fight, I can't feel her power.
yeah.
and when I
hit that
said
hard.
to her, so that was after
Yeah.
round 2 before the cut, because I was actually able to stare at Olivia, and she was like, but I don't feel her power.
Right,
And I'm like, but she's touching you.
right.
Yeah, like we kind of forget. Paul Manaji had a hell of a career
Mm-hmm.
on not hurting people.
And that
Right?
is
Like,
on
there's
what
things
the
like
judge
that.
is like. That's where that 98-92 comes from to me.
Right.
Like that's a judge who really likes volume, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe if you're a judge who goes off of damage more, as you're kind of, in my opinion, supposed to in the pros, but
Yeah.
there is a degree of subjectivity, and that means we have to remember that, like, yeah, you can't just let someone touch you like that.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. We hope to see the rematch. It was again fight of I'm trying to think of the other 2 guys earlier in the year that had a candidate for fight of the year, but this was just back and forth, and adjustments were made, and it was, obviously there was blood, from the from a viewer's perspective, that's always intriguing.
I try to give the people what they want,
you know, and you've done it. And so this rematch definitely would be great for the sport of boxing, women's boxing. And we hope that you get it soon. And, we can't wait to see Kaye. Shout out to Kaye as well, who fought her booty off as well, right, in that ring with you. And you guys are both warriors. I said it that night of, you guys are both warriors, sat there, we're in the phone booth for a little bit, and then got back to work, and it was a pleasure to see that ringside, for our sport, right? A sport that is always in chaos, but this is what the sport is truly all about.
And the next one, the rematch, is going to be on a way bigger platform.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be probably the co-main event on a huge platform.
Yeah.
So that makes a massive difference for
Yeah.
us, to be able to know that we're showing, my daughter is a sophomore in high school and she's never been to a professional boxing match. I know it sounds crazy because she's my kid and you would think she's been to never.
Mm.
So for her very first fight is to see which I would say is like her crazy aunt Olivia facing Kaye Scott in a war of that nature.
Yeah.
It was like my daughter, I go to my daughter, so what did you think after? She's like, I'm never going to fight. And I started laughing. I was like, good, baby, because I don't want you to fight anybody.
Right, yeah.
But it's like to be able to see that and now be able to put that on a bigger platform in the sense of a bigger card and be able to show that to other young women, other young girls, whatever it is, that's a privilege to be able to say that she's done that. I'm proud of her to be able to say she did that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Before we get out of here, we got to ask you, a boxing perspective. Obviously, Canelo and Crawford happened a week prior to your fight. How'd you feel about that fight? Did you feel like the scorecards were justice? Did Crawford pull it out? How'd you feel about it?
I did. That was such a fun fight to watch. I thought it was a great fight. And actually, talking about fight of the year, we were talking a lot about that in Billy fight.
Fight before, yeah.
And honestly, like talking a lot and trying to emulate. He was like, go for it, be in Billy,
Yeah,
But
you were.
That's also fight of the year candidate, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
I think they take it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, I mean, I think look, the Canelo card, where I sat here with you guys at one point and talked about Crawford,
He's just different.
He's just different. Like, what do you say? I think after round 2, you kind of felt like you knew what was going to happen. I never felt like Canelo ever got a rhythm. I think Canelo's fact that Canelo doesn't use a jab at this point in his career doesn't help. right? Like
He looked to me, he
KG got something to say to you.
visibly frustrated too at the end of that fight, which is
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
because he's someone who usually is very stoic, like you were saying. Like
Yeah.
he's such and I'm a big fan of both of them actually. To me, I was like, oh, my two favorite guys like fighting together. This is awesome. But Canelo looked frustrated when he couldn't figure Crawford out. And to me, that was a moment, it was like round maybe even like 11 or something, where he almost like sighed and started walking away. And I was like, wow, I've never seen Canelo do that before. He must be actually pretty frustrated.
Yeah, he was frustrated, but I felt like everybody was saying Terrence blew him out. I didn't think Terrence blew him out. I thought Terrence won. I had to fight 7-5 because I had to fight dead even after 6. You remember Canelo came with that great 5th round, then Terrence took the play away from him from 6 throughout the rest of the fight. And Canelo's non-use of his jab really cost him this fight.
100%.
And every time he threw the jab and then followed up, he connected every time.
But it was so rare and in between. And and you're not, and I say this because when we were out there at his camp years ago, and I would say, well, number one thing that I took away from was this man's eyes. Crawford's eyes are just, he's right. He's looking. So those little feints Canelo makes guys react off of head feints.
Yeah.
Not body feints, head feints. And then he would go in there and that's what Canelo, his last couple fights, he'll leap in with a big left hook and catch you with it because he would make you miss off of head feints. You're not going to do that to a superstar.
Right.
You're going to do that maybe to another world champion. You're not going to do that with a generational talent in Terrence Crawford.
Right.
And what I think ended up happening was that Terrence was like, wait, he is just like anybody else. And that's what made him take over that second half. I do think that when Terrence let go, I think was it the 7th when he came out and just let go of like a 7-piece?
Yeah.
And I think right then and there was just like, just pass over the torch. I'm now the face of boxing, and just let it be. And he did exactly what he did. I don't think it was a close fight. I think it was 8-4 at best.
I'm going with Roy Jones and Andre Ward, who had it like I had it, 7-5.
Yeah,
I'm going
8-4. You know why I'm going 8-4? Body language sells everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
And even in the closer rounds, Terrence Crawford still looked like he was dominating and controlling that fight.
Yeah.
You can't, like, Canelo, like everybody was just like, oh, there's that meme going around where he's kind of like, he's doing this thing and he has this look in his eyes. That's frustration.
Yeah.
That's realizing, oh, this works against other guys, but not superstars.
But Trinidad, also, look, the non-use of the jab. Canelo's used to walking guys down like he did with Berlanga and hitting them with that left hook. He was hitting Terrence with the left hook a lot to the body. But like you said, you can't beat a generational talent throwing one punch at a time.
That's exactly right.
You can't do it. But when he double jabbed and came with the right hand, he connected almost 90% of the time. Also, what Terrence did, lead foot dominance. He always had Canelo in his wheelhouse because his foot was on the outside of Canelo's left foot.
In a very small way, too. When you think it was really interesting. I remember thinking to myself watching it, if Crawford would have thrown 4 less punches, he would have lost rounds.
Yeah.
And I only say that because it would have looked like running compared to look like boxing.
Right.
He knew when to engage.
He knew when to engage.
He did.
He knew if he touched me, I need to touch him with 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it wasn't hard. Terrence wasn't landing hellacious shots on Canelo, but he still touched him.
And he could eat the power when it came back, which I think was the one
that was a
question everyone
shocking,
had.
That
it was like,
isn't
maybe
that shocking though? Like I know
I wasn't sure.
It's shocking for somebody to go 2 weight divisions up for a guy like Canelo.
Is that like this? And this is just like pure coach in me, right? Canelo was a small guy for a very long time. In that ring that night, Crawford was probably bigger than Canelo. But Canelo, or if not the same size, Crawford walks around in the 80s. and he shrinks himself down. So, and I know when you have a good night's sleep and a full tummy, like your power is going to show up the next day. If you don't cut weight hard, you're going to have more in the tank than somebody else. I think Crawford picked up. And that's why when people are talking about this Crawford Benavidez thing, let's stop.
Yeah.
This man is a heavyweight fighting at light heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
Crawford is a middleweight, not super middleweight, which he beat Canelo at, but he's a middleweight fighting at 168 pounds because he had the perfect opponent to do so in Canelo. It was a skill thing. It wasn't a size thing. When we go back and we think about it, it's a skill thing, not a size thing.
Yeah.
Crawford has the better skills. You can't even go and be like, it's an age thing. I'm like, no, it's not.
Well, yeah, because he's
older.
older. And also, too, a lot of people don't understand Terrence Crawford has a 74-inch reach.
Yeah.
He can hit you out here like, he can hit you like with a broomstick. I think Canelo had a lot of trouble dealing with his reach. That's why you need to use your jab.
Because you can't break that plane.
You can't close the distance.
This isn't going to work every 5 seconds.
Right.
I mean, look, Canelo made it work with everybody else, and I get it. Mm-hmm. But those were champions, not superstars.
So you're absolutely right. Now, what I think they're going to go back, which they probably already have. Eddie Reynoso and all those guys said, look at what you did when you used your jab. You seen Reynoso was saying, you're too inactive.
You think there's going to be a rematch of that fight?
I think it's too much money on the table.
No.
It's too much money on the table, guys.
I don't think so.
It's going to be a rematch.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why.
I guarantee you.
I'll tell you why. That fight wasn't close enough to warrant a rematch in the eyes of the public. And people look at this point to me, this fight to me is like watching, if they do it again, it's like watching Triple G and Canelo 3, not 2, 3. Nobody really wanted to see it. We knew what was going to happen. You think Canelo, an all-time great, is going to go out like that? Not like that. I'm not saying that.
No.
You know
he wants that rematch.
A dream fight for me, for Canelo, Billy versus Canelo.
I don't think that's
go do a fight like that. No,
sure.
Go do that.
No, let's go have a 3 or 4 round fight. Let's go ahead and do that.
No, hold on. It's 100.
I don't think that's a good fight.
No, but I think it is because he's not going anywhere.
I think Canelo knocks him out in under 7 rounds.
Come on, Trinidad.
Canelo
will destroy him.
No, I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is that's the kind of fight Canelo needs to have. Then he goes up and I think he has more of a vendetta against Bivol than he does against Crawford. I think he has a better chance against Bivol than he does against Crawford. Go get that rematch. Don't go fight Crawford.
No,
all that's going to happen, it's going to be 10-2 Crawford.
I totally disagree with you. I love you, Trinidad, but I totally disagree with you because I think all Canelo has
legitimate reasons for what the fight wasn't close.
Here's a legitimate reason.
Did anybody actually have Canelo winning the fight?
No, I didn't have Canelo winning the fight.
Okay, so you didn't have Canelo winning the fight?
But I saw the things that he needed to do to win the fight.
But now, the rounds that Crawford lost is never going to happen again. Crawford's never, you can't, a super, you know this. You played with MJ, Kobe. You can't give those guys this much confidence. Because once you give them this much confidence, they go for the throat. It's never
But you're talking about another all-time great who has...
And who? In Canelo. I'm not
Canelo. You're talking about another all-time great.
The torch has been passed. This all-time great, it's like Crawford is it. There's no.
He is.
He's an all-time great. He's on Mount Rushmore right now.
He is.
Canelo an all-time great? Yes, but he's not beating Terrence Crawford. I'm dead serious when I say 10-2. I wouldn't want to watch it. I'm not rushing to my TV to go watch that.
Well, you may not want to watch it, but the public will see. It's Mexico versus USA. They're gonna watch. They're gonna watch it.
Why does somebody want to see? I'm not saying that it wasn't a good fight. I visually loved it. I watched it 4 times. I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was great entertainment. I thought it was. I think the appeal of it is gonna go straight down. When we heard Canelo say, "I want a rematch,"
Yeah.
No,
And
he did not.
He said, "I want to share." He said, I would love to share the ring with Terrence Crawford, a great fighter."
But he never
after the fight. That's what he said.
No, he never said he wanted a rematch. Not once. Terrence, look,
saying I want to share the ring with another great fighter is saying I want the
like
rematch.
saying he wanted the Floyd Mayweather rematch. He didn't want that.
Trinidad. Turkey Al-Sheik's going to make another fight.
They're not. It's not going to happen.
Hey, look,
it's going to
there's
happen.
too much money on the table for it not to happen. There's too much money on the table for it not to happen.
It's $50 million to fight again.
No one wants to see it.
So where does Terrence Crawford go?
Where does Terrence Crawford go?
Yeah.
I think now it's legacy, right? It's a legacy thing. I actually, and I'm not saying it's a good idea, but what I think he ends up doing is he goes down to 160,
which is viable.
He gets four-time undisputed champion. No one's ever done.
Crazy.
You go down there, you become there, give Boots a minute to build up his profile.
What's a minute? Is that a year or two?
A year.
Okay.
I would say they're moving him really slow, which doesn't make any sense to me in the sense of quality opponents. Give Boots a year to let Terrence go and collect the belts real quick at 160. It's not going to be hard at 160 for him to collect it. And then you put Boots and Crawford at 160, and then Crawford walks off on the sunset. I'm like, what? Like, there's nobody else for him to fight.
That would be a great plan, but I still think that Canelo rematch is in the future.
We'll have you back, Trinidad, if it happens. Okay?
Look, Trinidad, because now Crawford, he can't make the money fighting Boots or at 160 that he can make fighting Canelo in a rematch.
Yes, he can. 100% now.
No, he can't. He can't make $75 million.
He's not going to
make $75 million.
I'm not. He's not going to. No one's ever going to, unless it's a Canelo-esque type of fighter. No one's ever. And I'm not saying his style. I'm saying his fanfare. Right? He's not going to make that kind of money ever again. But you don't think that Turkey Al-Sheik's going to be like, hey, let's go down to 160. Let's go get you a belt. That's one of these guys that have the belts at 160. We'll give you $20 million for a who cares fight. $20 million for a who cares fight? Like, yeah, he's going to go down, collect his, but it's about legacy now.
True, but you know what Turkey Al-Sheik is going to do? He's going to say, look, I'm going to give you 75 to 100 million for a Canelo rematch, or 100 million, 125 million to fight Benavidez.
For who? For Crawford to fight?
That's what he's going to do.
He ain't never fighting Benavidez.
For $150 million, would you fight Benavidez? For $150 million, would you fight Benavidez?
Would I fight Benavidez? But you're not.
Okay, that's what's going to
fight.
So, all right,
for $100,000 a month. Wow, what's it cost? But what I'm saying is that's too much. That's let's harm ourselves. Benavidez versus Crawford. And I don't
people
think
are going to try to get that to happen.
Of course you are.
More than the Canelo.
That's all everybody wanted to see. The smartest route to go was Canelo versus Benavidez. I would still like to see that fight, but I just saw a video or a picture of a guy that we know out of Chicago named Louis Taylor sparring Benavidez, and Louis Taylor is notoriously heavy. Okay? And Benavidez looked 2 times bigger than what's it called. He ain't getting down to one. Canelo would only fight him if he's at 168, not 175. Crawford has literally said no. It's like a Mack truck versus a Porsche. It doesn't make sense.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I'm telling you.
We're going to see what happens.
Last part of the show, we're Trinidad.
There's a lot of opinions, right?
Hey, you know what it is? Like, you know what it is? Truthfully, because now knowing a little bit of the way this business thing works, and especially Terrence Crawford, like the greats in every sports, has a massive chip on his shoulder that he earned. Okay? And now it's like, how am I going to leave this sport being known as the greatest fighter in the world? It wasn't close, a close of enough fight for there to warrant that rematch, and it's about legacy now. Go be a 4-time undisputed world champion. He becomes 4-time. There's no doubt he is the greatest American fighter in the history of boxing right now, in my opinion. And that's no knock on Muhammad Ali. I've always said this my whole entire life. Muhammad Ali is the greatest American fighter of a person who's ever lived in boxing, but he's not the best technical fighter and was not the best. He wasn't all of that. He was a great fighter when he was fighting, but he was better of a person than he was a fighter. Terrence Crawford is the best. He to me, he's better than Floyd Mayweather.
Oh man, we need
He got a house on the street. He don't got the house.
Yeah.
He had a house on the street. On all-time greats.
We're gonna have a part 2 of this.
Yeah, we gotta have another. We gotta have another show.
Just say better Floyd Mayweather, man.
Getting into this interview, I was taking my.
You talk about Floyd Mayweather, bro.
Trinidad, all good.
And listen, we love Terrence Bud Crawford.
We do, yeah.
We give him respect.
We've gained
Big
a lot
time.
of
We
respect.
gained a lot of respect
We've
for
been
Terrence.
Like right now. Go ahead though.
But when you talk about Sugar Ray Robinson, you talk about Sugar Ray Leonard, you talk about Floyd Mayweather, who's defeated the most world champions of anybody.
Didn't Sugar Ray Leonard try to go up to middleweight and win a title?
He did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did
he beat Hagler.
Okay, he beat Hagler. So another guy that was historically in the same with him. He never took the risk. Now, I'm not saying he never took the risk. Crawford went up and fought the best fighter, one of the best fighters in the last 10 years. And nobody's ever, you can't.
But Sugar Ray Leonard won on 175 down in Lalonde.
Okay, but look who he beat.
Doesn't matter. 175.
100%.
175 down in Lalonde.
I took Canelo at 175 and put him up against, God, I'm trying to think of 175 pounders, not David Benavidez. Or I even think Canelo could beat Arthur Benavidez. But yeah,
Better
potatoes, same thing. And I'm just like, I think he can beat him.
You think Crawford? You think Crawford beats Hagler at 160?
100%.
You think Crawford beats Floyd at 154?
Yes.
Man, bro.
We
had more time.
Hey, I wish we did that one time. The next show.
No hesitation in
Imagine how hard it is to be in the gym trying to get something done and train. And
because you're wrong. Okay, like I'll put that out there too. No, you know what? I don't know. Again, I have been there I've seen Floyd. I've been in person with Floyd. I've been there. I've seen Crawford. Now, I think I caught Crawford during the time of his hunger, right? Like we caught Crawford before the Spence fight. His hunger of wanting to be the greatest was just beginning. And then he whoops Spence, which the guy's never going to probably fight. It was supposedly he's coming back, but like whoops him and then makes a statement like, yeah, I'll fight Canelo. And then goes out there and whoops Canelo. I'm sorry. It was 8-4. No matter what anybody wants to say to me, it was 8-4. He whooped him. It wasn't close to me. When you go back and you watch it, you can tell because of the frustration of Canelo. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Well, he didn't give him a masterclass like Floyd did. But again, we'll talk about that another time.
He was a young man.
It's okay.
He never had real championship fights.
I understand.
He was undefeated.
He was undefeated.
And he was still at the time.
And he was still doing his thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to engage.
And Canelo started he's been fighting 8 years.
You want to say you're wrong on your own show, but you're wrong. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Look, man, it's an honor and pleasure to have you in studio, Trinidad Garcia. We were cool. Also, Olivia, thank you for coming out. Again, much success to you in the rest of your career. We can't wait to see the rematch. We hope to see it very soon.
Thanks for coming all the way to Detroit, by the way.
Yeah,
appreciate seeing you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Chicago
and way to put Chicago on the map. You know, we always love, you know, Kenneth Sims Jr., of course, is a friend of the show. And, you know, we thought he did a great job at UIC. I actually thought that, you know, he pulled that fight out. Unfortunately, he didn't. But you go up to Detroit and you put Chicago on the map as well. That's what that's why we do this show, because we want to develop Chicago boxing. And then when we see our fighters going out and doing great jobs like you did a few weeks ago, that's what we want. That's why we do what we do.
Chicago
Absolutely.
Always fights hard. We
That's
always,
right.
But we need one of the things, it was like, man, I'm glad, obviously, we didn't take a loss. We got the draw. It's a hard pill to swallow. Chicago's this close on getting over the hump. We're this close on getting over the hump. I'm sick of being, Chicago brings tough people. Like, I am over it.
Yeah, like Cleveland.
I'm sick of being those people.
Right.
I need us. We're gonna come over the hump, and hopefully we bring that title back.
Yeah.
You know, in the next couple months here.
Absolutely. You're at the forefront of the Chicago boxing, honestly, with the position you're in. And kudos to all the Chicago boxers. Eddie Olivares, Ronnie Halamo, Chuck Zell Washington, Frezzo, Mr. Frezzo himself, who's back in the gym, I saw, and sparring and so forth. So, again, all Chicago boxers out there, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be supporting you 100% of the way. By the way, before I give our sponsors, shout out to the people who finally got me my jersey.
Oh, yeah. I was checking that out too, man.
Had a little campaign. I told
nice.
somebody out there, give it to me. Nicole, Jennifer, Mike Napolitano, y'all, thank you so much. White Sox. Somebody from the White Sox did hit me up and said they ran out of jerseys, which was crazy. I still got one.
I would love to have one of those. Were you rocking a Puerto Rican flag on?
Hey, baby.
Nice, man.
Advertising something. Go ahead.
No, man. You know, I should keep showing up for the island. Thank you so much. The parlay is sponsored by Zeus Apparel, Glory Wash Pro, and of course 60/40 Club. Again, all the links are in the description box. And of course, do me a favor if you're watching the episode, subscribe, hit that link. Hit the bell for the notifications. And of course, follow us on all social media platforms of Parley. We cover Chicago boxing. We cover boxing, period. We love the sport of boxing, and we wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
KG, Illinois, thank you so much yesterday.
All right.
Appreciate that. It's Parley. Always, hey, man, if you like what you just saw, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You guys got to follow us. Season 7 is going to be insane. We are going to be here. We hope you are here for it. But Kendall, let's go. On the court, I need my rematch. That 10-0 game was a fluke. Let's go.
Tito, as the great Floyd Mayweather once said, there are levels for a reason. There are weight classes for a reason. You're messing with a heavyweight, a professional basketball player. You're a lightweight. I don't want to take your confidence away from you, Tito. Okay? You've been doing well in your rec leagues. You've been winning championships in your rec leagues.
Let's go.
Stay on that level.
Let's go now.
Well, you go practice.